Justin, I came to Colorado in 2013, and it was a good move for me. I have absolutely no regrets. As I mentioned, I came from Michigan, and I'm, again, love Colorado. It's my new adopted state. Within the first 30 days, I'd met a couple people, and one of them was Justin Culver. We met early on. I was doing some entrepreneurial projects, and Justin was running a tech company up in Denver. And so we had a conversation, and it stuck. Hopefully it stuck for me, and I think it stuck for both of us, because we've become good friends since that time period as well. And I've got lucky because there's a lot of other people, including Brad. When I moved to Canyon City, Brad was one of the first people I met after I came to Canyon City. So my luck is pretty good about meeting quality individuals who have become good friends with, and I appreciate both those guys. And tonight they'll focus on Justin. Great entrepreneur. We have lots of entrepreneurial discussions. We've got a lot of things that we're interested in together, but including entrepreneurship. And he's going to tell us stories, so I'm not going to take away from any of that. But I'm real pleased that he drove down from Denver tonight. And so he came down just to be with us. And I appreciate that, Justin. And Mika is here with him, and they're going to both participate in the class. I told them that they can stay put and add any input that they would like to do that after that as well. So you folks online, Ian, Lydia, Hayden, and Megan, you can all hear us, right? I want to just make sure you're good.
Yeah, I can.
Okay, very good. And I'm not quite as red as what I appear on the screen. I see my face is up here, and Justin won't be quite as red as he was either. I think Sage's done some saturation things. So I wasn't out in the sun today. If I look like I'm barbecued, I'm actually not. So without further ado, Justin, I appreciate you making the trip down here, and you're on. So
thanks, Phil. Yeah, so when Phil and I met, I was doing an IT managed service company and a software development company at the same time, out of an office in Denver, and that was a lot of fun. We had a chance to serve over 100 clients in developing solutions for their technology and for software. So we did some fun projects together, and since then have even talked about some businesses together. So let me log into this. So Phil asked me to talk a little bit about entrepreneurship and a bit of my journey. You know, I started putting together some things that I thought would help someone that's wanting to start a business or just considering to be a better entrepreneur. And I, you know, when I Googled entrepreneurship, I came up with stuff that was a lot meatier than what I was putting down on paper. So I decided to take the more of the personal journey. So I'm going to take you on a short 10-minute kind of a journey about my entrepreneurship. I think that it can have a lot of meanings in it. And also, I think the word is not even that old. You know, I have an old Noah Webster dictionary and it wasn't in there. So I didn't do the research on the word, but I think it's a fairly new concept, to be honest. So there are a lot of different definitions, but I'm just going to take you on this short journey here. So one of the biggest things I think about in entrepreneurship and how it applies to me is I think it's a different way of thinking altogether. So I think it can be taught, and I think you can become a better one. I think it's like a lot of things you can learn tactics, and you can learn kind of strategy, so to speak, but I really think it's a different paradigm altogether. So for me personally, it really started when I was a kid. So like a lot of boys, I had a love for RC cars and motorcycles and all kinds of toys and fireworks. And my parents would not buy those things for me. They pointed at a lawnmower and they said, that's your avenue to earn those things. So you can go and start mowing lawns, the neighbors' lawns. And these are like $10 jobs. So this isn't a lot of money. So I hated mowing lawns. As you can see here, I was a pretty skinny little boy, and to push a lawnmower was horrific. It was horrible. I almost cried when I would have to mow lawns, but I would see motorcycle, I would see fireworks. And so it started really from a young age, teaching me to really think about things just a little bit differently. If I really wanted to have the best fireworks show among my friends, then I had to start mowing lawns. So that's my first point that I think is a really, really important one. is it's a different way. It's kind of a deeper way of seeing something. And I'll describe it a little bit more in depth, but I just want to start off with that. It's kind of a little bit like the Simon Sinek video about the why. Have you guys seen that? He talks about how you start with the why and how all these companies have success in kind of moving from a why. I think there's even layers deeper than that, honestly, in entrepreneurship. And I think it's a paradigm. So I'll leave the first point at that, but it's something I want you to consider about a paradigm. So the next point I would make is about vision. So without vision, people really kind of die inside if they don't have some kind of a purpose or vision. I look at a lot of the generation that's even like 6 years old. I have a 6-year-old son and older. They can be very distracted and in a moment of, playing games and focused on what their friends are thinking, and all that stuff is fine. But if it becomes a focus without a vision, I think it's a very big distraction. So I think a vision is a really important piece as well. And the reason I'm showing these pictures is because when I was on that little motorcycle, I had a vision of racing dirt bikes. I wanted to be the best in the world, and I wanted to race at the national level. And so I had a vision of that. And though I didn't make it to that level, you can see I was racing a professional or a amateur race here. And I won a trophy for a friend he was actually my mentor, and he was in a motorcycle accident. So I won him that trophy. And then even up here, I still ride motorcycles, and it's just something that I could actually picture as a little kid. I would sit there and I would think about that. So I think the vision component is a very important piece that I learned, and I've always since then had the ability to kind of vision what something looked like, whether it's a product that I'm developing or whether it's a business that we want to start. I mean, Phil and I can spend hours just sitting around and talking about it, and that's the vision. So the blizzard. The other component too is not taking no for an answer. So it's seeing things differently. So I have a funny story. I love mud pie blizzards. Have you guys had a mud pie blizzard? Vanilla ice cream, Oreo, coffee, and chocolate. It's amazing. So I went through the drive-through at Dairy Queen, and I went to order my mud pie blizzard, and I was really excited about it. And the girl said, "Well, we don't make those anymore." And so I could have just said, "Oh, okay, I'll do the Oreo," but that would have been very disappointing. So the mud pie, I said, "There's got to be another way. So don't take no for an answer." So without being rude or demanding, I just said, "Well, how about I tell you the ingredients and you could make it?" And she said, "No, we can't. I don't know how to ring that up." She was, a younger girl, probably a teenager in high school. And she just said, I can't make you one. So I said, "Okay, you have an Oreo blizzard up there. Maybe you could take that and add the coffee and the chocolate to it." And she said, "Yeah, I can add something to it. It's 25 cents for topping." And so with that, I got my mud pie blizzard. So it's kind of like, I don't think you heard me right the first time. Maybe I should explain it a little different. And so I think an entrepreneur also has the ability to, I say don't take no for an answer, but that comes off a little bit harsh sometimes. It's more of just stepping back and saying, is there another way around? Because I really want that mud pie blizzard. Then the other part of a vision doesn't have to come from my love for dirt bikes and cars and things about me. As I got a little older, I started getting a vision for helping other people, as an example. And one day I literally woke up because I started this business and it was just really starting to be successful. I was getting contracts coming in the door, and I couldn't really explain what I was doing to someone that made it successful. And I literally woke up one morning and I felt like I was going to be like found out, that it was like, you don't deserve this. And I had a vision it's kind of in my mind's eye, and it was a funnel. And I felt like God literally gave me this vision of a funnel of all these companies that would be successful as long as I had a purpose and a vision to put it to work elsewhere, not just about my next house or my next car. And so this has driven me since about the year, probably about 2002 or three. This was very early on. And I have stuck with this funnel vision for a long time. So I tell you that because it's my personal vision, but it's one that drives me and keeps me focused on making something successful. So when things get really tough, because they get tough every time, I'm able to still remember that the work I've done with the World Food Bank and traveling to Africa and going to India and supporting orphanages there, and some of that work has just been the most fulfilling work I've ever done. So this funnel is very, it's an important vision. And then lastly, I'll take it just a little deeper. And so you might have to think about this too on your own, own time some too. But I think in entrepreneurship, you have to have a faith. And what I mean by faith is it's a belief, and it's not just a belief that things will work out. I think it's a little bit more of a belief in what you're doing and the impact it's going to have. I mean, I think, I look at Brad and Phil as examples in some of the work they've done in different communities and some of the big projects they've done. It's not really just about the work and making it successful or paying the bills or any of that. They really truly at their core believe and know that it's going to help people. So I just want to challenge you too with that. I put paradigm to faith. So from the very beginning, I talked about a different paradigm, different way of thinking. And I think the faith aspect of it is really what encompasses it all, that you have to really, truly believe in it. I had a friend once tell me that if you tell me what a man believes, I'll show you what he does. And if you tell me what he does, I'll tell you how he believes. And so what that means is you act from your heart. So when you have a belief in something, and this can apply to life, but when you're talking about a project or, a business that you're starting, if you truly in your core believe it's going to work out, you act in a way that it will. And I'm telling you, there's a reason why entrepreneurs have a success rate of 1 in 10 companies or something. It's really bleak. It's difficult. And I think a lot of it is when I've met people that have been in that state of failure, including myself, it's often you have to check, like, what do I really believe in this? Or is this just something I'm doing because it was fun or to make money, which again, aren't bad things. But I think that there's a deeper kind of vein that I just want to challenge you and leave you with that as far as my personal journey, that you have to really believe in something that's a layer or 2 or 3 deeper than the surface. I hope that makes some sense and isn't too abstract, but as I think about this, it really is the only thing that resonates with me when it comes to entrepreneurship. It really is what helps me when the times get really, really tough. So I put here too, it's believing that the impact that what you're doing is needed and will come to bear. And you really have to believe that in your core.